Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Admissions Live. My name's Jordan Stevenson, so excited to be with y'all tonight. So we are talking about housing and orientation. Heavy hitters tonight, so if you're sitting there on your computer or you're driving home and you're on your phone, probably shouldn't be doing that, tell your friends, tonight is the night you're gonna get some answers to your questions about housing, about orientation, and then any admissions questions that you have, I'm here for those as well. So again, Jordan Stevenson, I'm the Director of Student Recruitment, excited to be with you tonight, and I'm gonna turn it over to our special guests to introduce themselves, and then we'll talk about news from the nest.
Sounds good. I'm Alex Lyon. I'm the Director of New Student Programs. So I oversee all of our new student orientation programming, a little bit of our extended orientation opportunities, and basically just welcoming all of our new students to KSU.
Yeah, and I'm Chris Bruno, Deputy Executive Director of Housing and Residence Life, and in my role, I get to help build the housing application, work with students on assignments questions, billing, contracts, everything under the sun related to housing and residence life.
Wow. Give your title one more time.
Deputy Executive Director. I like to tip my imaginary cowboy hat when I do that.
I love it.
Yeah.
You need 2 name tags for that,
Yeah.
that title.
And a little star badge right here.
Yeah. I dig it. It's very good. These are awesome folks. We have wonderful professionals here at the university that want to help you, students, families, and these are 2 of my favorite folks that are here at the institution. And I'm not kidding because we're on live. These are actually 2 of my favorite folks. So, not just saying that, just so you know. All right, couple of things, news from the nest. And then we're gonna talk about some fun stuff, and then we're gonna talk about the nitty gritty of housing and orientation, all right? So number 1, our football team destroyed first round of the playoffs, yeah?
It wasn't even close.
No.
I mean, I was expecting a competitive game, blowout.
No.
Kind of boring.
I said something terrible, I'm sorry, but I didn't even know Davidson had a football team.
What?
Turns out they don't. Okay, so anyways, sorry Davidson. One of my good friends from high school is a Davidson grad.
Yeah,
and
Steph
so
Curry
is his dad.
is an alumni of Davidson.
Yeah, that's right. The basketball. So,
Basketball.
Yeah, no football, but anyways. I'm sure Steph could play football too if he wanted to. Well, maybe wide out or something. Yeah, something where he wouldn't get destroyed. Okay, moving on. So we destroyed Davidson. We're excited. Another game this Saturday, December the 4th. We are playing ETSU, East Tennessee State University. We destroyed them back in 2015. They did beat us in 2016 by 3 points, not much. So we're ready to take it back to ETSU. I think they're the Pirates. I don't know how Pirates end up in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Kenny Chesney?
So.
Kenny
Did
Chesney?
he go there?
I think he's from Johnson.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, he's related somehow. So
Yeah, so a pirate
beach,
thing.
pirate.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay, from the mountains of Tennessee, the Great
Obviously.
Smoky Mountains. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Makes sense. So either way, I think we're gonna destroy them, although they are ranked pretty high. So looking forward to a good game this weekend. You can catch it on ESPN Plus. You can also listen to it on Owl Radio, and then I think you can even see it on the NCAA site. So pretty cool. If you don't have ESPN Plus, you can just go to the NCAA site and watch it there. So check it out. We also have tonight women's basketball playing Mercer. Mercer is a old rival of KSU. The Bears down in Macon. We want to destroy them any chance we get. So hopefully the women take it to them tonight in basketball. And then our men are playing Mercer coming up on Wednesday. So also check these things out, ESPN Plus, great way to keep up with the Owls. So fun stuff there, fun athletic stuff that's coming down as we're starting to wind down the semester here at the institution. Other things that are happening this week, admissions related, the end of this week is the document deadline for spring 2022. So if you applied for spring 2022 and you haven't turned in your transcript or supporting test scores or whatever else is needed to complete your file, you have until the end of this week. So get it in, don't delay, complete your application, help us make a decision quickly on your file. We are making decisions every single day. So get your scores in, get your transcript in, and help us make a decision for you. We are talking about heavy stuff with orientation and housing, but one thing that you commonly hear from us is fill out your FAFSA. This goes for all of us too. So even Chris, like more internal to the institution with housing, and while you're living here, Alex is your in between all of us. That's why she's sitting. Actually, we didn't even think through this.
We didn't plan that.
But this
works.
is genius.
I like the gateway to
the pathway to
the flow.
Yeah.
And then financial aid is like
homework.
like the Holy Spirit all around us, everywhere,
always, you're always
all
checking.
encompassing.
Every year.
Anyways, the FAFSA, it affects all of us. FAFSA affects you, helps you pay for college and afford college. So if you have not filled out the FAFSA, it opened October 1. It's been open now for 2 months. It's almost December. This is something that if you haven't done it yet, you're a senior in high school, maybe you're a transfer student, even our current students that check this out, do yourself a favor. Do it before the holiday break. Do it before your mind is elsewhere, before you go on 24-hour video game sprees, before you binge watch 6 seasons of some show. Knock the FAFSA out. That way it's something you don't have to worry about. Gets into the spring, you're back into school, you're now focused, hopefully, on your academics, and you just forget about the FAFSA. Do the FAFSA now. Do the FAFSA now, get it out of the way. That'll serve you, it'll help us. We'll be able to help you through anything that you encounter as you're doing the FAFSA, so give yourself time, de-stress, get it done. Okay, we are hosting campus tours right now, so we're Monday through Friday. You can come to campus and tour both campuses. Sign up for a campus tour, visit.kennesaw.edu. We'll make sure that link is here in the Facebook Live chat, so check that out. Other things, if you haven't taken the SAT, ACT, you need to do that. So if you're an incoming freshman or prospective incoming freshman, we are requiring the SAT or ACT. My recommendation is that you try both, but I understand we're kind of in a time crunch. There is a test coming up December the 11th. There's an ACT that's coming up. And then if you don't do that one, you've got really until, and there's also an SAT that's coming up this weekend, but if you didn't sign up, it's too late. Move on. So there's nothing in January, and you won't be able to test again until February. So I recommend you look at our testing site. It's admissions.kennesaw.edu. Look under freshmen and transfer freshmen. You'll see all the test dates. We've got them laid out there, ACT, SAT. Take a look at them. Register as soon as possible for the next available date. That way it's going to help you out in terms of applying to college, getting into college, so consider that. And then take a look when you're on our website at some of the other special events that are going on, like this kind of event, like other things that are happening at the institution. Take a look at those special events. Join in anytime you have time. Okay, folks, before we talk about your special areas of expertise, tell me, what was your favorite thing you bought Black Friday, or the favorite thing you did during the Thanksgiving break? You have a choice.
Okay. I actually bought only one thing on Black Friday.
So
Spent
it's
a whopping $35.
automatically your favorite. Nice.
On a Christmas gift for someone else. So
Okay.
I'd have to go with the Thanksgiving question.
I like that, though. You gave context. That's
Yeah,
great.
this is why I'm going to talk about what we ate.
Yeah.
So my family hails from Sicily through Brooklyn down to Georgia. And so growing up, the Bruno family, we never had a traditional Thanksgiving with turkey and stuffing and green bean casserole. I'd never really eaten that before. My grandma Bruno, who was 4'9" and just full of sass, she made her homemade meatballs. And so for the last couple years, I have a Friendsgiving the night before Thanksgiving. I make grandma's meatballs. They have to be made the night before, simmer overnight, all day, to be eaten at 7 o'clock the next day. And then 2 pounds of pasta, homemade garlic bread. And the grandma's meatball recipe, only 2 people on this planet know it, myself and my dad.
Wow.
It's never been written down. It's all just up here. So, yeah, that was a special thing to share, my grandma's meatballs. It's really
That is
fun.
really cool.
Yeah.
And that your dad knows it, you know it. When are you going to pass it to your boys? Like what time? What's the time, the age of knowing?
I
for
got
your boys?
asked that question at dinner. Stephen is 12, James is 10, and I was asked who's going to get the recipe, and I said whoever eats a meatball first. They've never tried them.
Oh, what?
They've never had them.
Why?
They're very picky eaters.
Okay.
They don't like spaghetti. Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
I know. Those are fighting words.
Fighting words.
Your grandma's rolling over in her
Yeah,
grave.
she sure is.
Love it.
So yeah,
That's so cool.
that was my
Look at
favorite
that. Look
memory.
at that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I had the leftovers today for lunch, so that's great.
Yum. Fantastic.
I'll go with a purchase,
Ooh,
and it is
okay,
very much.
okay.
So I have a 2-year-old, and it's her bedtime, so she's not watching. So
Oh.
no spoilers.
Yes.
And I've been hunting a play kitchen, and I found one for 75% off.
Whoa.
I've been watching it. Yeah, for like, you're a parent.
Wow.
3 months I've been looking for this thing, watching it, seeing, am I going to spend the money? That's a little bit of a splurge. She's only 2. Does she remember things? We're not sure. and then it was really, really cheap. So
Yeah.
we went
Oh
and
my
we
gosh.
did it, and now
Was this an in-person purchase or an online purchase?
it's an online purchase.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's being
But it
shipped
was
to
for
your
Black
house,
Friday.
or you got to
Yep.
go pick it up, or what?
It's being shipped to our house, which is even better
Even better.
I don't have to.
It's not like
put
a
it in car.
Craigslist thing, though.
Correct. No,
Yeah.
and then I have to build it also, but I don't think I'm going to have to build it. I think Santa will build it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm just,
Santa's
you know,
got
it's
to
on
do some
loan.
work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I
Just
love
holding
it.
it in the workshop.
Play
yeah.
kitchen, so
Oh, yeah.
fun.
And
Okay.
it's like a big one with a farmer's market. It like sizzles
Oh.
and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's,
All
oh
organic.
yeah, stuff's fancy
Oh, yeah.
now.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's, you know, the big thing in the Lion family is kitchen. Yeah.
Nice.
That's
Exactly.
super cool.
Oh,
Super pumped.
She's gonna go.
She's going to
crazy.
love
with
it.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. I hope she didn't stay up to catch Mama
If she did, just-
tonight. Yeah.
Just-
Hopefully she didn't pick up on certain
Ear-
words.
Earmuffs.
Yep.
Yeah.
You won't hear anything else. Didn't give it away. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay. This is good. This is good.
Yeah.
What was yours?
I'm going to share my Black Friday purchase because I have this weird thing where I usually do it with my oldest daughter. I have a 22-year-old and I have an 8-year-old, almost 9-year-old. Well, matter of fact, the 22-year-old's almost 23. And normally we go out shopping. My wife's not a big Black Friday person, but like I love it. Like I will not sleep all night Thursday night. You know, once capitalism really took over and they moved Black Friday to the
That was
Thursday,
game
To
changer.
I was
Thanksgiving.
like,
Yes.
this is great.
Yeah.
I don't care. And back when like Micro Center was a thing,
Oh,
or some of
yeah.
these stores,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Micro Center's still a thing, but Fry's, all these, I would go wait for stuff.
Yeah.
Like
you know.
electronics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
Target line that's
And
like
hunt,
around
hunt.
the.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it was
sure.
exciting to me. Like,
Yeah.
don't need a TV.
Well, and you're also like seeing the people.
Buying a TV, you know, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Manic, definitely manic for me. So I do have a thing though. I will go to Walmart every year because Walmart always has those like those bins and those
Oh, yeah.
stations of the cheapest DVDs and Blu-rays you
Yeah.
can get all year. Okay, so I'm a huge Fast and the Furious fan. Yeah, I know.
There are, like,
It started
how many
in
of them?
college. I had an import car back when my first car was an Acura Integra. Yeah. So I have every movie, all of them, except the 6th one. Because, not last year, but the year before, I went Black Friday hunting for the 6th one, but I tricked myself. I didn't make a note to say which one to buy. And I forgot that I didn't need the 7th one. I needed the 6th one. I thought I needed the 7th one. So I bought the 7th one. I know this is like making no sense and doesn't matter.
No, I'm with you.
You
And,
got doubles.
and so I'm missing the 6th one. I have 2 number 7s. I'd already purchased the 7th one. And here I am. I got 1 through, at that point, there were only 7. Now there's like, what, 9 plus an extra, like, non-canonical one. You know, it's like more than Star Wars. It's crazy. So this year I said, the one thing I've got to buy is the dirt cheap. I only buy the DVD too. I don't care about the Blu-ray. Great, whatever. I mean, they're great. They're much better.
I'm not fully
But
sure
I
that
said,
I understand the difference.
I want the
So.
cheapest. It's a lot of P's. It's a
like
you know
quality?
480p versus
Yeah.
1080p. It's a lot of P's. Yeah, it's just better quality. And but for me, it's like saving $3 is like $3. So
Yeah, that's
a
win.
I bought a $3 Fast and the Furious
Nice.
6th version. That's the only thing I wanted, and I bought it.
Like, see you later. How are the crowds?
So not bad, not bad. And I also like didn't prioritize. I mean, I you know, because rest assured, I could buy it off Amazon or
Right.
something. But I want the cheapest one.
You want to go
Yeah.
like dig it out of the bin or like out
Yeah.
of the box. And,
Yeah. So my 8-year-old went with me. My wife begrudgingly went, but we went later in the day. I didn't go at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
It was like 10:30.
When you put
You know.
that movie into your DVD player, you're going to remember that
Exactly.
story
Oh,
of
yeah.
finding that in the bin.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
But if anybody needs a 7th one, I've got 2. So you're welcome to have one of them.
I have to admit, I've never seen a single Fast and Furious
Okay.
movie.
Wow.
Well, I had this conversation today in the office. So somebody else is going to borrow all my DVDs and watch
Okay.
through them, and then you've got the
You're up.
second round.
Okay.
I will give them to you. You watch through them.
Okay. Fair.
See the gloriousness that is Fast and the Furious franchise. Really, the first one's my favorite, as it should be. But I'm also one of those people where I've got to have all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, they've gone this long. You have to like.
You have to
Yeah,
see
you
it
gotta have
through.
the whole
I feel
set,
that way
right.
about Grey's Anatomy. I like started watching it from the jump, and now I'm stuck.
There you go.
So,
Oh my
yes.
gosh, that's a mammoth.
I'm just really.
Yeah, what are we on, season 22?
I'm
or
not sure. I feel like.
It's like Survivor.
The
but
Simpsons, yeah.
Right, something
Yeah,
like
The
that.
Simpsons, that's a better
but
one.
You gotta, keep up with it.
There you go. Okay, so that's me.
Yeah.
Fun.
Nice.
Yeah,
This is
that's
awesome.
awesome.
Okay, hopefully y'all enjoyed this. We think you did. We're just going to assume you did.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions about the housing process, the orientation process, about admissions, about anything, post it in the chat, and we will get to your questions. We've got some people in there that are answering questions probably live, typing answers to you, but we'll also ask some questions live and answer them right here. So make sure you post them. Okay, folks. Alex, Chris, would y'all mind just telling the folks a little bit about yourself? How did you come to work in higher education? How long have you been at KSU? That kind of stuff.
Sure, I can start. So I have been with KSU since April of 2020. Spooky times, but then we really picked it up.
I feel like you've been here so much longer.
I know. So I
In a
interviewed
good way.
before.
Yeah.
It was
Thank
a
you,
weird
Chris.
time where I interviewed before pandemic, and then mid-pandemic, I'm like, do I still have a job? Are we still doing this? Yeah. But we're here. So it's been awesome to be able to work with all of our student leaders and with our team. And it's definitely been interesting to see if you had asked me as someone who does orientation professionally, if we could ever do it virtually, I would have told you no a few years ago. I thought that it was very much something that you could do in person, but we really have shown that you can do it both ways. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I've been in higher ed since undergrad. So I was a resident assistant and in Greek life in college, and really felt like I didn't know that this was a job, and when I found it, I'm like, oh, cool, you can hang out with college students for a living? That sounds great.
Sign me up.
So I have a BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts from another institution here in Georgia, in creative writing, fiction writing, and then I got my Georgia State.
It's fine.
And then I have my master's from Georgia State as well in social work. So I'm a licensed social worker. I like to practice intervention social work, so I like to prevent problems before they happen. Our young adult students, when you're coming into college, you really are at this very cool time where you're getting your bearings, you're figuring out what you want to do with life. The choices that you're making really do kind of define the next few decades of your life. So just being able to help students understand the process of college, things like scholarships, financial aid, how you can register for classes, like which classes you should take and how the sequencing works. Helping students along that path really helps me love what I do. I really do enjoy helping students kind of get their bearings, and also just working with our student leaders. We have a phenomenal group of orientation leaders. We'll talk about them as well. So I really do enjoy what I do, and our team at New Student Programs is amazing, and we are excited to welcome students and hang out with them. We really do feel like when we're having an orientation session, it can be hectic, but overall, just helping students navigate campus, seeing students kind of getting the schedule that they want for the first time, all that's really cool. So definitely love what I do.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome. My name's Chris again, and I've been at KSU for 10 years.
Wow.
Woohoo.
September of 2011 is when I started, and I turned 40 in February, so I've now spent a quarter of my entire life here, which is a little unnerving to say and scary to think about.
Congrats.
Having like
I don't even remember the first 7 or 8 years, going back to the kitchen thing.
Yeah.
She won't remember it, but it's going to be
Right.
awesome.
She'll have pictures.
Yeah,
They'll be like,
great
remember this
pictures.
kitchen that I bought for you. Yes.
But my journey, just like Alex, I was an RA in college. My undergraduate degree was actually in fisheries and wildlife biology.
Interesting.
And I don't know if you can see this owl up here, but I studied birds and wildlife and fish. I wanted to be a fisheries biologist. That was my goal. My senior project was trapping and tagging squirrels on my college's campus, which was doing a population density study. Not relevant at all, but it's a little bit about me.
I have some squirrels, so you can
I can
Trap and tag.
Yeah.
ask to live somewhere else if you. Yeah.
I am a very proud and annoying graduate of Clemson University in South Carolina. Did my undergrad and my master's work there. And so, like, fifth year senior, had my victory lap. I'm trying to figure out my life. I was an RA for 2.5 years and really liked helping people and helping them with the transition to college, which I myself had a really hard time with. 1.8 GPA after freshman year. That was awesome. And really loved helping people. And in the housing world, I really feel like outside of the classroom, there is more learning that happens outside of the classroom than what you learn from a professor and in books. And I like to consider myself an educator and to help students, one, come to campus to get a degree and focus on their education, but also learn about themselves, the larger world, how to be a global citizen, and then how to make mistakes in a safe environment. Because if you're going to make mistakes, this is the place to do it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, love what we do. I work with a great team in housing and residence life. Every day is different. And no 2 days have ever in my life been the same.
Even when you feel like they're going to be.
Even when you think it's going to be a boring day. Day after Thanksgiving, come in, 8:01, I got my first email from something that needed a response. It's like, oh, it's going to be one of those days. And it was. Yeah, it was good.
But you're here. And it's
I'm
fine.
here.
Yeah.
I'm here with my friends. This is great.
Yeah.
That's very nice. That's very kind of you, Chris.
Yeah.
I feel y'all both have a res life background, although Chris, went head first professionally. But I feel for you, and I think about
Especially
you.
this time. When it gets dark early, it
Yes,
seems to.
yeah,
that's true.
People get a little.
It
full
does
moons.
something to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
Everyone needs one of those lamps.
So hang in there, hang in there.
Yeah.
But like I said before, these are awesome professionals. You can tell by their stories how they care for you as students, how they care for the families, how they're really here because of their personal stories and the things that they experience as well. Really want to help you going through this college journey. And that's one thing we've really focused on here at KSU is how do we really connect with you, even as a big institution, on a minute level, on an individual level, to connect you with the resources you need to be successful. And we've got people that have gone through it themselves. So this is really a special place, and we want to help you connect here today. That's why we're doing this, is to help all of our students that have been admitted up until this point to understand, and those that are going to be admitted in the next few days as well, those that to understand the housing process, to understand the orientation sign-up process, so that you can really get started on the best possible foot. As we're heading into the spring, if you're ready to commit to the institution, we're going to tell you how do you do that and do it as soon as possible. So we'll get to that in a second, and maybe one of these questions, but Emily's got some questions for us, so throw out these questions and let's see.
All right, so Nicole asks, can you stay on the Kennesaw campus even if you're doing the engineering program?
Okay, good question.
Great question. So there is a live-on requirement if you're a student with a Marietta-based major. So if you're in the STEM, the engineering, math, science, all those technology-related things, if the system classifies you as a Marietta campus student, you do have to live on the Marietta campus. And that is a legacy requirement from the former institution, Southern Poly, that was down there on that campus. We decided to keep it in place because the academic rigor of those programs is so intense that the students really are better academically when they're in close proximity to their classes and the other resources, their professors, and other students who are going through the same types of programs.
Chris gave a very official answer. Obviously, this is your thing, but I also want to say, you should want to live on the campus of your major.
Yes.
You should want to be with your peers.
You're by your classes too.
Yeah, exactly. So we hope that, we get asked that question a lot because we do have two fully functioning, almost you could argue independent campuses, because we were two separate institutions up until fall 2015.
Yeah.
But you should want to be on the campus of your major so you can truly engage. You can truly get involved with your peers in and out of the classroom and take advantage of the opportunities that campus is offering you. And the Marietta campus has such a cool culture. It's such a cool atmosphere that is really from talking with students, working with students that I get to work with, this smaller, tight-knit community within this big institution. So I think Marietta campus is awesome.
I'm able to get down there 1 to 2 days a week. I love being on the campus. The vibe is totally different. Students are so much fun to talk to. It's a different experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
If you have a friend who's on the Kennesaw campus, maybe they're a theater major and you are over in computer software engineering, you guys can go to the same, like if CAB is throwing an event and there's a big event on campus, you can go to events on each campus. The Big Owl bus will go back and forth. So it's not like if you have friends on the opposite campus, you can't see them, but it's just better to be where your majors are. So then my favorite thing about living on campus was like waking up 15 minutes before class and
Go into class in your
scooching
pajamas.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you have to get on the Big Owl bus to get down 75,
Yeah.
not as quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, good question.
So Nicole also asked, which it looks like Housing has responded in the comments, but if you're not sure if you're going to KSU, should I still fill out the housing application? And Housing responded and gave her an answer for that, but you can also
I'm curious to know if our answers are going to match up. Hey, Tiff.
Let's see. Roll the dice.
If you are interested in Kennesaw State and want to live on campus, yes, 100% fill out an application on December 1st at 10 a.m. when it opens. Housing is in very high demand. And so if you change your mind or decide in April or May, like, okay, I decide I want to come to KSU, your chances are, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. Your chances are more slim if you apply that late. I will say that and also say there is a $200 non-refundable application initiation fee that you will have to pay. If you pay that fee in December and then decide in March or April to go somewhere else, you won't get that money back, unfortunately. So Think long and hard about which school you want to apply to, because it is a lot of money that isn't covered by financial aid. You have to come out of pocket with it. So just know that going into it. Yeah. Do I match? Do we match?
Yes, you match.
Awesome.
You knew you would.
You can still apply for housing and change your mind about attending KSU, but you are signing a legally binding agreement when you do that $200. So perfect. And then Carmen says, is there anything that I need to do before signing up for orientation?
Okay.
Good question.
Good question.
So definitely activating your net ID and your password. So that's usually what trips up our students first. We have something called Duo Mobile at KSU, and a lot of our USG schools have it. It's just another security. So we're making sure that when you're signing into your account, it is actually you. But sometimes that trips up students. If you don't know your net ID or your password, that is all emailed to you once you're admitted. You get all that information from our UITS friends. But let's say you forgot your password, and then maybe you also forgot your security question passwords or answers. Maybe that happens. It's totally fine. UITS can help you reset it, so you can reach out to service@kennesaw.edu or give them a call, and the help desk folks can help you out. But definitely check that. And then once you have your net ID and your password, you're good to sign up for a session. Especially if you're coming in the fall semester, you have plenty of time to do kind of the next steps before orientation. But definitely just grabbing your date, making sure that you are getting a date that works for you. The earlier, we do encourage students to go ahead and pick the earliest session that you're available to attend. And once you have that session, you'll start getting some emails from us with next steps about meeting with your advisor for a pre-advising appointment, uploading your photo for your Talon card, all that good stuff will be sent to you.
Nice. So a couple of things were brought up by these questions, and that was one of the things I was hoping for. And one, Chris mentioned it, so let's talk about this first. Both of your, we're going to call them applications. You know, we'll say it's sign up and application.
Yep.
Open December the 1st. Talk a little bit about that for folks. This is really focused on first-year students that are coming for fall 2022. The application is going to open. This is a big reason why we've encouraged you to apply by the priority deadline. Get your documents in to be considered for admission. If you're gung-ho KSU and you're ready to commit, which we've had kind of that question, what if I don't know yet? For those out there that do know and you're ready to commit to the institution, y'all have done a great service for them by opening up some of these things earlier than other institutions. Would you talk a little bit about the process? When does it open? We've already said, but just reiterate. When does it open? And what are some of the benefits of filling out an application early or signing up early for orientation and housing?
Cool, so I can start. If you sign up for orientation early, our sign-up system does open on December 1st. We are not 10 a.m. It should open magically at 12:01 a.m. So if you are up watching TV or something, you can jump in and grab your session if you'd like to. I know, like the system just does it. It's great. Picking your date early. So I say kind of the date that's or the earliest date that's convenient for you is what I would have you sign up for. Think about if you are a senior graduating from high school, those May dates that you see. If you already know your graduation date, please make note of that. We had some students that got stuck because they picked a date. It actually turned into their graduation date. If you already know that, great. If you have to change your date, it's really easy. You just go back into the sign-up system. So you'll sign up at orientation.kennesaw.edu. There's a sign-up page. It asks you a few questions. You'll go through your personal information, so just making sure that we have your preferred name, all that good stuff. So when you're here, we're calling you the right thing. We ask you about your major. So let's say that you, when you were applying to KSU, you were a business major, and now you have decided that you want to go into education or something like that. Totally fine. There's a place to answer that in the application section. It does not change your major with KSU, disclaimer, but it will get you to the right advising team. Registering for classes is a big part of our orientation sessions. You'll meet with your academic advising teams. They will help you select classes that work for you. So by signing up early and getting an earlier date, you will sign up on the day of your orientation, so then you're able to get a date that, if it's earlier, you really do have more options for classes. That is not to say that if you attend a session in July that you won't get classes and everything will be terrible. That is not necessarily true. It just means that instead of 10 different math classes that work for your major, you might only have 3. So if you want to maximize your opportunity to get your class schedule that you like, we do encourage you to go ahead and sign up as early as you can for the earliest session that you can. You will get your Talon card at orientation. You also will take a campus tour. You'll get to know your orientation leader, who's an older student mentor who will work with you. So you're really just getting kind of your bearings as you're navigating that transition, especially for our graduating seniors. You're kind of moving from high school into getting to know campus. I know that attending orientation really helped me feel more prepared. I felt like I kind of knew where classes were, and I wasn't as freaked out by what the first day was going to look like. My OL got to show me around my campus and talk to me about textbooks and things like that. Just kind of gets you going a little bit earlier. It also helps with some of our deadlines, so getting your financial information in, working with Housing and Residence Life. As you're sort of doing these things and checking them off your list, it just kind of helps you feel more prepared, I would say.
Yeah. Can I piggyback on one thing you talked about? Because I was refreshed in my mind about the transition process for students. You talked about registering for classes, and that's a very important part of attending orientation. It's not all of orientation, it's just a part of orientation. And I want to reiterate that you, the student, will actually register for your classes. Many of you have never had to do that before. And it hit me like a ton of bricks a couple years ago when I was talking to a student that they said when they transitioned to the institution, this was before your time, by the way, it wasn't a bad thing, but when they transitioned to the institution, just a second.
Never know.
They didn't know that they would actually pick their own classes because all through middle school,
you get
high
like
school,
2 choices or something.
Yeah, the counselor picked classes. Parents would interject. Oh, I want you to take this class or this class. College was the first time that they were confronted with, I have all these choices, right? So one, very vital that you will actually register for your classes. Nobody's going to do it for you.
Correct.
Two, we have people here to help you. So Alex talked about the advising portion, that you'll have time with your advisor, that this is somebody that I call advisors your buddy inside the university, kind of goofy thing, but it is what it is. And this person is here to help you stay on track, know the sequences for courses, all those kinds of things. And ultimately, you will register for your classes. So orientation is very important. So in my opinion, you should pick your orientation date and then plan that graduation trip, not the other way around.
I could not agree more.
Yes.
I mean, you will get to build the schedule of your dreams if you register for orientation early. You'll get, not that any class is better than the other, but depending on your schedule. If you're not a morning person, you can book classes for 10 a.m. and on. You can book Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes and then sleep in on Tuesday, Thursdays.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
And
You
kind
mean
of
study, Chris. But
Study.
yes.
Yeah, you're right. Study.
going off of what
1.8.
Chris mentioned. So your orientation fee for summer and our fall students starting this new season, we are combining our Talon Card fee with our orientation fee. Our fee is non-refundable. So let's say that you are also thinking about many different schools. It is non-refundable. So if you decide to go somewhere else, you will not get that money back. And it also is non-transferable. So let's say that you are coming in for fall 22, you come to orientation, and then you decide to defer, come to a KSU at a different semester. Because of your academic advising component, we want to make sure that you are selecting those classes, looking at your transcripts really up to date, and helping students register for those classes. You won't be able to move your orientation date. You'll have to sign up again. So it is better to make sure that you are coming to a session that you know that you'll be at. But we do encourage you to go ahead and grab one of those dates. If you feel like KSU is really, really high on your list, go ahead and sign up. Can't hurt.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Chris, talk a little bit about your process. You already threw it out there, but remind everybody when it opens.
December 1st, Wednesday, December 1st at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we don't open at midnight because we want to be there, give ourselves a little cushion of time to get caffeinated in the morning before everybody starts calling us with questions.
Nice.
And then open it up at 10 a.m. once we have staff on site who can help with your questions.
Sure.
But it's so straightforward. It's very similar to orientation. You drive the entire process. And like Jordan said, we're not going to put you in a room. The students will start their own application, pick their preferred roommate, put you and your roommate, if you have one, on a room in late April. It's really important to get in early. If you, this happens every year, December 1st at 10 a.m., we have 500 people who are logged in. And it crashes our servers. Our servers can only handle 300 or 400 people in there at a time. This year we've ramped it up. We can have 1,000 people logged in at the same time at any given time. Costs a little extra money, but it's all about the customer experience. That it's as great and as smooth as possible for y'all. why is it important to open the housing application early and have you sign a license agreement, contract, lease, whatever you want to call it? On April 18th, that is the date that you will actually get to pick your own room. And we issue time tickets for that process based on the date and the time that you signed your license agreement or your contract, however you want to say it. So the earlier you sign your license agreement, the earlier time ticket you're going to get to pick your room and also your roommates, if that's important to you. So again, yeah, it's weird to think that doing something 4.5 months earlier will impact you down the road, but we try to keep our process as fair as possible. Date and time that the license agreement was signed, we'll issue a time ticket and let you keep on moving from there.
Love it. Chris did not say this, but housing here is extremely popular.
So
Popular with a capital P.
Yes.
So their process is so purpose-built to make this as easy as possible, as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
So please, please, please hear what Chris said. Rewind back after
Yeah.
the session's available.
I will say this
Yeah.
too. We analyzed the numbers for the last 3 years. Students that applied between December 1st and April, 95% of them got housing. So if you're someone who's still in the process, haven't submitted your documents, it's all good. It's all going to be okay. If you apply on December 2nd, you're still going to get housing. Just make sure that you get in there as soon as you're admitted if you want the best chance of getting housing, period.
Another thing I want to point out, I love this. Y'all both talked about what I'll call continuous improvement. So taking Talon 1 card fees and the orientation fee, putting it together, that's so cool. That's better for the student, better for the family.
Yep.
Increasing server space. I'm going to challenge folks out there to let's get to the 1,000 mark. Let's crash your
See if it
server. And I mean, what would be better than that? Right?
We're prepared for it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
I really don't want folks to crash the server, but it would be really cool because y'all put in so much effort.
I'm going to call you at 10:15 on Wednesday.
Please do.
You jinxed us.
Please
Yep.
do. That'll
we
be
can
perfect.
see when we're getting close and it goes into the red and we're like, oh no.
Oh no.
No.
Wow. Oh, I love it. Okay. All right. So it's a challenge for you out there. If you want housing, December 1, 10 a.m., get in there, push that server.
Yeah.
Get your housing. Okay. Emily.
All right, so we've got a couple questions. So this is kind of going based off what you guys are talking about. Pamela asks if housing is still limited after freshman year. So if upperclassmen housing, if we have a certain number of beds as well.
Yeah, I'll be straightforward. Upper class housing is even harder to get than first year housing. So we have 5,900 beds across both campuses. And out of those 5,900, I'm gonna do some quick math, 1,800, I'll say 1,800 of those are upper class beds. So the other 4,100 are all first year beds. So imagine 4,100 first year students who had a great time because living on campus is awesome. They want to live on campus the next year. The math doesn't add up. 4,100 students fighting for 1,800 beds. It's tough to get upper class housing. Again, I think it's imperative you apply as soon as it opens if you decide you want to come back for year 2.
All right, awesome. And then Candy asks, they said we signed up for an April orientation session for fall 2022. And is this where we're going to sign up for classes?
Yeah, so if you got all of your documents in and were admitted before November 15th, you got a special glimpse into our April dates. So we picked those because of our spring break calendar. So for a lot of graduating seniors, hopefully this is your spring break. So while you are hanging out at the beach, if you come back a little bit early, late in the week, you can go ahead and get your orientation kind of checked off your list, and you would register for your fall classes in April. And we do have some plans. I know that is a big gap to go from April to August when classes start. We have some plans to make sure that we're reminding you about things that you learned at orientation so that as you are spending your summer break, you're not forgetting all the things that you learned at orientation, but you'll go ahead and get your classes. If you got that email and those dates didn't work, you will have access to all of our dates, and those are also on our website. You can check them out, orientation.kennesaw.edu. You can see the full list of dates. So if that didn't work, you can go ahead and pick one that works for you on December 1st.
Nice. I'm excited for that because this is the first year we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And I'll say myself, my daughter went to a different institution, and we did an April orientation, and it was awesome because she felt like she was already connected to the university even sooner than going summer. And then her institution also did some summer activities that were both here as well as on campus. And she participated in the ones that were here in Atlanta. And so it was awesome.
And our sessions for the April dates are a bit smaller. So you get more of a smaller group size. When you're meeting with your advisor, you'll have smaller amount of people in your session with you. If you missed out, you didn't get your documents in until after November 15th, if there are spaces available, you can go ahead and sign up for one of those April dates starting on December 1st. That is how kind of our orientation system works. If you, let's say you want to change your date, you just go back into the sign-up system. And then we often get questions about, is something closed? So as people are switching dates, and they do it all the time for many different reasons, maybe you're going out of the country, going on that senior trip, or you just forgot that you had to work that day, you can go back in and you can switch your date at any time. So if you're not seeing a date, so let's say you wait a little bit, and you want one of those first dates, you're seeing that they're full, keep checking the system. So as the spaces fill up, the system will let you pick a spot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're settled up on questions
Cool.
from the audience. So I've got a couple of questions of my own. So we're talking about orientation. For people out there that are new to the college game, right, or even just new to KSU, right, because orientations are different at each institution. Tell everybody just kind of a glimpse of what the day looks like, what they can expect, how fun it is, all that stuff.
So we moved it back. We used to start very, very early in the morning. I am an Atlanta native. I am very familiar with traffic, especially 75 and 285. So we moved it back. Check-in is between 8:30 and 9:30. We also have a resource fair during that time. So if you get here at 8:30, you can hang out in the resource fair a little bit longer, get your Talon card. But sessions actually start at 9:30. And then we do some general sessions together in the morning. And then we actually break off with our parents and families. We'll go to their own orientation session. You'll learn from different campus partners, things that you need to know as part of our KSU family. So whether you're a parent, you're a grandparent, guardian, friend, whatever that looks like when you're attending orientation, students get to bring one guest. That is because of space. Our dining halls and our advising groups and things like that, we need to make sure that we don't have too many people at the session. But you'll go through your own orientation session, and then students go off with their orientation leader, and they're with their OL team the entire time and their group the entire time. So you're meeting different students, you're meeting that mentor where you get to ask questions. Our orientation leaders, I feel like, being a little bit removed from college life, if you have any questions about what life is like on campus, what their fun things to do on campus, where to study, where to hang out, they really are the best kind of resource. So during the day, you get to hang out with them, which is really, to me, worth the money. You'll meet with your advising team, you'll grab lunch, pick up your Talon card, get some free good giveaways, goodies, and then hear about other resources on campus. So Chris mentioned earlier that college life is not just classroom. You spend most of your time not in the classroom. So you'll hear from folks like Student Affairs who talk about programming, how to get involved. You'll get to know the campus. So maybe you've already taken a campus tour. You don't want to do that. You can skip that. So our day really goes from 9:30 until 3 is like active sessions. And then after 3 o'clock, from 3 to 5, we have optional sessions. So if you want to take a tour, you can do that. You can check out the bookstore. Your OL can answer some questions for you if you have anything. They usually will hang out, make sure that groups are good to go. Otherwise, you kind of get to go beat Atlanta traffic if you want to. But it really does give you kind of a quick glimpse of campus life and all the things that we have to offer here.
Love it.
Yeah. And it's a good time. We try to hype it up.
Orientation is super fun.
Yeah.
The energy that you feel being in that room with your OLs, your orientation leaders, there's nothing like it.
Oh, yeah.
It is super fun.
We
I
have
am
a
not,
lot
I
of
am not an
OLs.
orientation kind of person. I'm more shy and quiet.
Yeah.
But the people that are orientation
Nobody
leaders
believes you.
Yeah.
are incredible.
And they're like fully caffeinated, ready to go at
Yes.
8:30.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
welcome,
Yeah.
blasting all of the music.
I love it. It's fun.
Yes.
It's college. It's supposed to be fun.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Good.
absolutely.
You have a great crew. I have a little advice for students out there as you're trying to pick that one person to come with you.
Yes, that's
You know,
good.
parent
yes.
or family member or guardian or whomever. Pick the person that's going to engage the most and cry the least.
Oh.
So when I went to college, it was the same kind of scenario. You could only bring one person.
Yep.
And I knew my mom well enough that I asked my dad to go with me because mom would have just been just a waterfall of tears the whole time, trying to, this was like before cell phones had cameras and stuff. So,
I brought my sister because she had been to college
There you go.
recently
Look at that. That's smart.
and knew how to pick classes,
Yeah.
and she was like, "You don't want that one. You want this one."
Yeah.
So it was like, She already
Perfect.
knew. My parents were like,
Genius.
yeah, exactly. So just take
There
the
you go.
person, and then students will break off and go to their advising sessions. So parents, if you're watching and you're attending orientation with your student, I say this every single time, but if you know that your students, they can't take that 8 a.m. math class because they're not really firing at 8 a.m., whisper those things in the car on the way to orientation. You can even write it down in a list. But when they're going into their advising rooms, we want to make sure that students feel comfortable asking questions. Sometimes when parents are around, they're not asking. And that's not like your kid. It could be another kid, may not because there are parents in the room. So just making sure that they feel free to ask stuff, answer stuff. So we do split you off. But you go on your own magical adventure with really phenomenal people, like our parent and family programs. Friends talk about how you can get involved in all of our family weekend stuff and how to stay involved and how to stay connected. So it's not like you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nice.
Little pro tip.
Nice. Chris, can we talk a little bit about particularly the LLVs?
Yeah.
Explain to folks what an LLV is, some of the opportunities of LLVs, you know, things that students could look at, be involved in. How do they sign up for those types of things?
Yeah, for sure.
Would you just run with that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So an LLV is a living learning village. And what it is essentially at its core is a group of students who live together on the same floor, the same wing, and they have shared either academic interests or personal interests. And there's a really quick and easy application process within the housing portal. It'll take you directly to that page. It'll ask you, you know, here's what LLVs are. Here are the different ones that are offered to you, depending on which campus you are and what your classification is. You can choose at the bottom, do you want to apply, yes or no? You can always come back and change your mind. And then you get one preference. We used to let students pick 3. Now you get 1. You get 1 choice for LLVs. And you'll answer one simple question about it, and then it'll go into the application pool. And if you're selected, that's great. You're into the LLV. You'll be living in that LLV's housing community. If you get declined, you can go backwards and apply for a different one if you didn't get into the one that you wanted. Some of our strongest ones are with the honors program. We have honors housing on both campuses for first year and upper class students. The gaming community on the Marietta campus is very strong, as is the engineering LLV on the Marietta campus. We also have Stonewall housing, which is gender inclusive housing. That you don't apply for specifically through us, but there's a different department on campus that we work with. We have Ascend housing. We have a wide variety of LLVs that you can apply for. The website's fully updated. Tiffany and Catherine doing a great job with that, and Alyssa too, of keeping that up to date. Housing application is really straightforward. Try to keep words to a minimum, so you'll see it when it opens on the 1st.
Love it. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got another question.
Question. Carmen asks, are orientation dates different for virtual versus in person?
Oh, we haven't mentioned that. So we are offering both virtual and in-person sessions. So I was very excited the last few orientations because as of spring, we are back in person, but you get to choose. We found that during COVID times, and we're still ambiguously in it, if you are out of state, if you have a job that you maybe don't have the time to take off, maybe you need a Saturday date, maybe you just don't want, you've already done the campus tour, you've already met with your advising team, you might have been a dual enrolled student, you feel like you already know campus pretty well, we have that virtual option to help any kind of student who really needs it. They are the same fees because you really do get basically the same experience. The only difference is that one is happening on campus, one is happening off. So that timeline that I was talking about, our virtual sessions start at 9 a.m. instead of 9:30. But then you really are doing stuff virtually. You're meeting with your orientation groups. You break out with your OL. You break out with your advising teams. You meet different campus partners. And then in the afternoon, you can meet directly with your advisor if you need to. So you'll be busy the same kind of timeline from around 9 until 3. So it really is similar. We tried to strategically form our in-person to mirror what's happening virtually. So if you feel like that's a better option for you, go ahead and pick one of those dates. And those dates are typically, if our fall dates are a little bit different, we have kind of Kennesaw and Marietta specific ones. But most of the time for our virtual, we do have some all major options. So that's a cool way if you want to meet different people from different campuses. All of our advising teams are there. All of our different OLs are representing different majors. So it's a kind of a cool way to get to know people as well.
And I want to say Alex and her team are, if you're familiar with the movie Ready Player One, Alex and her team run the virtual orientation like it's the Oasis.
Yep. We have like a guy at Zoom who we know personally, which is a different kind
Really?
of thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
which is
didn't y'all help them
strange.
with something? You like
Yeah.
made a suggestion or
They were
and
saying that
like,
their
"Whoa, wait a
breakout
minute."
rooms did something, and we're like, nope, they don't. 'Cause we tried that, so we've
And we broke it.
Yeah.
We broke
correct,
the
and we
breakout.
broke it. It has not broken. So Zoom has come a long way in 2 years, and we
Yeah,
really
it's
have
true.
been able to use like the breakout feature, being able to put students in rooms. You guys are able to actually move rooms. So if, let's say that you change your major, or you get into your advising group and they're talking about chemistry, and you're like, eek, never mind. This is a little bit not really what I thought. You can jump into another major really easily in the virtual format. Not that you can't in person. You just have to walk. So it's a little bit kind of faster time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, over on YouTube, Sarah says, would I be sharing a room with another student if I'm going to Wellstar College? So someone who's not in that college.
I see. The answer is it depends. Sorry, will you repeat that question?
So, sorry, I'm just trying to reword it. Would I be sharing a room with, they said regular student if I'm going to Wellstar College?
They're like a nursing student.
So are you basically going to be with the same majors if you're not in an
Oh,
LLV?
yeah.
As I think.
I see,
kinda
I
what they're
see.
saying.
I gotcha. I'll talk about roommate selection just really quickly because we have our own Facebook Live about that process specifically that'll be happening in March. But the power is in your hands. So you will get to pick one preferred roommate. And when you start step 1 of the housing application, you will get to fill out some questions about yourself. You know, what time you go to bed, how cold or hot you like your room, do you smoke or vape? You know, what's your political stance? Kidding. And then a brief bio about yourself. And then 2 years ago, we added the opportunity for students to add their cell phone number, their personal email, their Snapchat and Snapchat and Instagram handles. And so we find students communicate better that way than through the portal, which has a messaging system. And you'll get to see other bios of potential roommates, and so you'll get to pick who you live with. If you don't have someone you already know, then yes, it'll be a random person, but you'll get to know them and communicate before you lock up as a roommate pair. So the power's in your hands to pick or not.
I feel like that's part of the fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went potluck. I lived with a guy from Pennsylvania, and it was awesome.
My first year roommate works at the CDC now, so like that's a connection. And we did very different things. So
Yeah.
yeah,
My first year roommate's a doctor now.
yeah.
Wow. Mine is too.
Really?
Yeah, but in music.
Oh.
Oh, you know,
Doctor of music and teaches. And we were best friends when we went to college.
Were you best friends after?
After
Yep.
freshman year?
Gotta watch
no,
that.
no. Love you, Joel Davis, but not best friends after freshman year. So,
Yeah.
although we did room together again.
Did you?
We took off sophomore year.
Okay.
I lived by
Great.
myself sophomore year. He lived with another dude, Chase Williams.
Long enough to forget.
Chase is really nice, but he stole my best friend
Oh, yeah.
and my roommate. And then we lived together again partway through junior year, and then all of senior year.
That's crazy.
So I got Joel back.
Yeah.
Joel came back to me. But now he teaches at our alma mater in music. So there you go. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
It wasn't the music that ran me off. He was really good at music. It was probably me. I'm a jerk. So I think I ran him off. But anyways, neither here nor there. That's very interesting.
We should call him.
All of our roommates. I
Yeah.
should, I
They're just
popped
doing
in on
well.
him in his really cool office at our alma mater one day and scared him when I
Nice.
was in town. So yeah, it was like, what's up, man?
That's really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was cool. He looks the same. I look way different. But
sorry to be the spoiler. You might not have that major when you graduate either. So
Yeah.
it's okay to change your mind.
yeah,
Yeah, having new things, all good.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, there could be some real positives to rooming with somebody that has the same major as you.
And that you don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes that
Or
helps.
maybe not.
You're like setting up those boundaries early.
Oh, this is awesome.
Help.
This is fun. We're talking about life.
I know.
Yeah.
Who was it that said, hold on, Chris, did you say it? Like, decisions you make now, like, could affect you?
They will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they will. They absolutely will. Like, we're adults and we're dealing with the joys and the ramifications of our choices
Yeah.
in college. But
you know, it took me 5 years of my undergraduate life. I was an RA exactly halfway through. And my first couple years of college, I did some stuff and some things that I would be ashamed to say on this Facebook Live. And now it's all coming back to me in housing and residence life. So for you students out there that are like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get to college to do X, Y, and Z, you can't get anything by me. I've seen it all.
true.
I've done it all.
Yeah.
I know all the stories. So you're talking to a pro here.
Love it. We are at the end of our time. So, one, would y'all mind leaving our folks out there in virtual land the easiest way to contact your offices? And then one final piece of advice, like one final thing to leave them with if they didn't watch this whole thing or forgot everything we've said. What's the one thing that prospective students out there that families need to remember and do?
Awesome. Advice, I'll go first, and then I'll do contact information. Sign up for orientation. Also go to class.
So two
It's
things.
always my student. People ask me, like, can I be successful in college? Go to class. You meet your professor. You meet different students. It's harder for your professor to tell you, wow, I'm failing you forever if they've seen you every single day and you look like you're trying. Pro tip. To contact our office, it's ksuorientation@kennesaw.edu. That is the best way. It's email, and I know that sometimes people want to talk to someone. You can also call our KSU info line, but our staff are really quick, and often we need your KSU ID number. We need to know some things about you, and it's easier to do that via email. We can kind of investigate what's going on. Often it's a sign-up system issue, so we can go on the back end, figure out what's happening, and then we get back to you usually within, if it's a business day, usually within a couple hours, we're back communicating with you. So email us. We are also, you can check out our website for more of our contact information.
Nice.
Yeah.
Chris?
I think I'll lead with my advice too. I think my advice would be to have an open mind.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, we talk to students every year who have to have a University Village 2x2 or a 3x3 with their best friend from high school. And I can tell you that those beds are extremely limited. There's only 40 2x2 beds total between those 5,900 beds I mentioned. So if you don't get your preferred floor plan or you don't get to live with your preferred roommate, it's gonna be okay. Meet new people, different majors, different walks of life, people that you wouldn't normally be friends with in high school. College is all about learning about you, yourself, the world, other people, and caring about them. And so I think that would be my advice, is have an open mind.
Nice.
Take the pressure off.
Take the pressure off, yeah.
Everything else is pressured. So
Golly.
Yeah, you only get to do this once. And I
supposed to be
wish,
fun.
yeah,
Kind of.
I wish I could go back and do it again.
Oh yeah.
To contact us, it's 470-578-8663, or that 8663 is T1. So when you call that number, you're going to be calling the Talon One Service Center, which is a great group of students run by Crystal Caldwell, Shanitra Ashby. Probably shouldn't be given their full names, but anyway.
So it's thanks.
They're on the website.
Yeah.
You can find them.
470-578-8663. You'll talk to one of them. They're fully trained. They can get in touch with us on a bat phone if there's an emergency. Email is also very much preferred because we do have thousands of people applying for housing, and we don't always have time for a 45-minute to an hour-long phone call. So ksuhousing@kennesaw.edu is our email system that'll create a ticket for one of our staff members to go in there and respond to. Super awesome system. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And make sure, so sometimes our parents email and they'll ask us stuff. Make sure that your student is emailing. So if they're looking to switch dates, we'll help you out. But it is good to start. I always tell parents that if you took driver's ed, it's like you are in the passenger seat and you have a brake. So if something is a problem, you can brake the car, but your student should be in the driver's seat. And they should be kind of driving around. So if your student has a question, if they need to change their major, if they need to change their session, have your student please email us, and then we can work with them. It just kind of gets them in the habit of kind of taking care of those things. We're moving out of that kind of admissions, high school. You're used to a counselor or a teacher or your parent kind of being in the driver's seat. You get to go ahead and take the keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Put quite that way.
Yeah.
It's a
good.
good reference, yeah. Folks, thank y'all so much
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
for
welcome.
joining all of us tonight, for helping everybody out there in virtual land out with your processes, with timing, all of these things, and with awesome advice, as you both usually carry with you. I'm going to keep the take the pressure off thing. I love that. That sounds great. I need that for my life.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that with me as I leave here today. And to help you out there, take the pressure off, build yourself a list of the things that you need to do, like the FAFSA, like signing up for orientation that opens at 12:01 on Wednesday, the 1st,
Yeah.
which is coming up. So we're
We're almost
you know,
there.
yeah, we're
it's
like, what is it,
28 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's one of the top things on your list. Sign up for orientation. Then boom, 10 hours after that, housing pops open. Look at all these things you'd be knocking off your list. You could do FAFSA tonight or tomorrow night.
you go.
You can do these things on Wednesday, and then you're well on your way to
You're
enjoying
kinda
your
coasting
holiday break.
until spring. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So awesome. One, I do want to recognize all of our Jewish friends that are out there.
Yeah.
Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah came super early this
Yeah.
year. I know y'all are feeling it. Thanks, Jewish calendar. Bumped that thing way up there into November. So very exciting. A big break now between Hanukkah and Christmas and the other holidays at the end of the year. But we're in the holiday season. I love spending tonight with y'all, talking about our Thanksgiving fun. And then how to help students out. So thank y'all so much. We always close with allies and a Hooty Hoo, so will y'all do it with me?
Of course.
Love it.
Love
Thank
to.
y'all
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Hooty Hoo, everybody.
Hooty Hoo!